Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Everything is fine with rah-rah. Why am I getting that text?
Airball. You're on.
I know I'm on. I just got a random text message about rah-rah Thomas. I didn't even know there was something wrong. Oh, he missed practice today? Are people on the beat talking about him missing practice today?
I guess.
He had a birth of a child. It's not a big deal. See, every once in a while you show up on NBR, you get a little dog news, you know?
Congratulations.
Should we start it? Let's start it. Hey, we got a local show coming in. We got a national show, not local news here. Figure out what's going on there, though. It's the birth of a child, but I guess everyone else is reporting like it's breaking news. Here we go. New people enjoying something that you've always loved is never a bad thing at all. That's what we have going on in the world of college football right now. We have people who would otherwise never care about this sport that have definitely found their way over here. They definitely wouldn't be caring about no Colorado Buffalo football, but they are certainly here descending upon our sport world for these Buffaloes because of Deion Sanders. And if you don't believe me, just look at the numbers. 9.7 million people watched their midnight madness against Colorado State the other night. 8.4 million watched them against Nebraska, of all teams, okay? And I would imagine that they break all of those records that they've already broken this week against Oregon in that 3:30 slate, because let's be honest, it's the best 3:30 game that is available, at least in terms of a storyline. But here's the thing. When new people, okay, that didn't love your sport or didn't love the thing that you love, start loving on it, man, you're going to start seeing some hot-ass, wild-ass takes. You're going to have some people out here doing some crazy-ass stuff when they find something that's been around forever and now they're new to it. All right, we got a bunch of newbies around college football and some crazy stuff's happening. We got folks out here sending death threats to college football players. We got folks buying $5 million worth of sunglasses over some new college football fandom. And we got people out here thinking that Colorado is the first to ever manufacture crowd noise at practice because they are new to covering college football. Did you guys see this?
I did see it.
Deion folks brought out here some speakers and started playing manufactured crowd noise. And you would have thought the Colorado Buffalo beat thought he just invented the forward pass.
Falcons been doing that in games, bro. This has been big.
That's a good one. That's better than the forward pass joke. Yeah, they must not follow up on the NFL news because the Falcons got suspended a first-round draft pick.
They've been doing it, bro.
Ben had crowd noise. Ben had fake crowd noise.
In a season where they were like 4-12.
So, yeah, I mean, it just absolutely buckle up, folks. I'm telling you right now, because this is just the beginning of the Deion Sanders experience, okay? Because it was an experiment. Let's be honest. That's what it was. Deion Sanders was an experiment by the Colorado Buffaloes. And now it is an experience, okay? Because we are out of the experiment phase. We know forever, as long as this dude wants to do this, he's going to do this. Deion Sanders is going to be coaching college football, all right, until he wants to go elsewhere coaching football or go do something else around the world of football. Deion Sanders is here, folks. It is no longer an experiment. It is an experience, and that's what I've come to take away from all this. It's pretty clear to me, if he wants to stay, he's going to stay. And by the way, I think his two sons that are pretty much NFL draft eligible, I know Shadur is going to be an NFL draft pick this year if he wants to come out. Maybe Shiloh as well. He's playing pretty well. He's leading their team in tackles and interceptions. But it seems pretty clear to me they're coming back for another year at Colorado and going to try to really, really build up a roster, over a 2-year span for the Buffaloes.
I mean, Shadur's out here whipping a Rolls Royce. So obviously life is pretty good for the Sanders.
Rolls Royce, and after the games, he's out here doing that. That's that rolling.
Tom Brady told Shadur, get your ass back in the film room.
Yeah,
and
Tom
get
Brady
out of
did
that
not
car.
like that, bro.
Tom Brady did that for the purposes of doing that.
Yeah.
Come on. They're friends. They've been friends.
Oh, I know.
They've been studying tape since his days down there at Jackson State. Here's the other thing about Deion that I don't know if other big name brands are going to allow him to do. the sunglass selling's cool. It's fine. It's his sunglasses. The Under Armour wearing is not. Y'all notice this? I think he's starting to hide the logos, but he is an Under Armour branded athlete. He is an Under Armour branded sponsor. Jackson State, as soon as he got down there, Under Armour jerseys. Like, this is an Under Armour dude. I believe all of his prime stuff is still Under Armour.
Yeah.
And that is a Nike school. Okay, that is very much so a Nike school. It's why when the Auburn job came up, I was like, prime? That would have been elite. But, they got the freeze. So, burr. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the best thing you can say about the freeze.
But, dude, Deion coming to the SEC would be elite. It would be fun to watch. Welcome into tonight's show. We got a loaded one for you. We're going to give you a little Heisman update. What's at stake this weekend? We're going to talk about it a little bit if I get my mic to situate correctly. Deion sunglasses. We're going to talk a little bit about that some more if we didn't talk about Deion enough. What we learned about Joe Milton and the Tennessee experience this weekend. They're already having to come to defense of their quarterback. And I'm going to rank the SEC play through 3 weeks. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm only ranking 8 quarterbacks because I didn't even bother ranking 14. Actually, I ranked 9. I'm sorry. I forgot one just now as I was thinking about it. We're going to rank 9 quarterbacks today. The other 4 starters, 5 starters, we're not going to talk about it.
It's honestly like 6 because they're rotating guys.
Say what?
It's like 6 too because if you think of like Auburn and Alabama, that's 5 quarterbacks right there.
Yeah, shocker. Neither of those made the list.
Did you want us to make a list too?
No, I mean, we can go through y'all's list, but I made a list of 9.
All right, I made one too.
I'm glad you put in the work to make a list.
Hell yeah.
It's always good. It's always good to get valuable opinions. We can see where we differ and why you're wrong. But no, it's a great show to be here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, rating, reviewing, all that good stuff. We are available on podcast. If you don't have YouTube Premium and you can't watch us on your phone with a locked screen and all that stuff, it's okay. We're available on Spotify. You can watch us over there as well. Spotify has video features now. Did you guys know that?
Yeah, I
did
saw
know
that.
that.
I actually went to watch a podcast and I was like, oh shit, the video's up there.
Yeah, so it's pretty dope. You can watch us over there on Spotify as well. I prefer to watch us on YouTube, and I'm glad you're here. Make sure you're subscribing if you are. We got a loaded show, but I want to give a quick shout out to the folks over at Prize Picks. PrizePicks.com, using promo code Brooks, get a 100% deposit match over there today. We got Flex Friday coming up on Friday. Got Thursday Night Football tomorrow. Got college football as well. Support the folks that support us, okay? PrizePicks.com, promo code Brooks today. You get a 100% deposit match over there. What's that mean? Put in 50, they'll give you 50 right on the spot. Maxed up to a $100 deposit on the deposit match. Appreciate those guys. Also want to tell you we are going to be live and in person over at Creature Comforts tomorrow. That's September 21st over there in Athens from 6:30 to 8:30. Come hang out with the homies and talk some ball. Think we might do some in-person Q&A out there. What you goofy smiling at over there?
Yeah, I just hope Sam Squatch is all right. That's all. Keep rolling.
Thoughts and prayers.
Keep rolling.
Sam Squash.
Yeah.
Read the chat.
I ain't got time for it. Is that funny? I'll read the chat when you guys are talking. But no, we got a great one for you, and it's going to be a great time over there at Creature Comforts on Thursday evening. So make sure you join us over there. And like I said, we might do some live in-person Q&A, because that's always fun. How are we doing today, boys?
Fantastic.
Doing good. Ready for Thursday. Ready for Creature Comforts.
Ready for Creature Comforts? You going to get a brew dog?
Nah, probably not.
Post-game brew.
I'm not a beer fan.
I think you guys ought to get a couple brewskis in you tomorrow. Legal, of age.
I don't like
Why
beer.
not? Loosen it up.
I don't like beer.
Not a beer guy?
No.
Don't say that.
That does
before we
not
go.
surprise
Don't
me.
say that before we go to a
I like
brewery.
Creature. I go there a lot.
Yeah.
I went there
though.
Saturday to watch the game. Really good game day environment.
Good game day vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good to know. I won't have to know, but good to know.
Yeah.
What was so clutch about the game day vibes?
So they got outside, they have TVs with the game on. Inside, they have a massive projector in the main room. But then over in the corner, they also have a TV. And they play the volume just loud enough to where you can hear kind of what's going on, but not too loud where Gary Danielson is just blasting in your eardrums.
Shouts out to Sam Squatch. Shaduki? Is that what y'all laughing about?
No, the bad Taco Bell's what got me.
Oh, yeah, man. Dude, stay away.
Dookie.
You got to stay away
I
from
didn't
the
even
Taco
see that
Bell,
one.
dude. Taco Bell lately, I'm just
I haven't had Taco Bell in 2 years.
I think I've had it one time in the last year.
That's an off-air story.
Yeah, honestly, I used to think like, nah, man, whatever you put in your body don't really matter. And then about 26, 27, my bowels were like, wrong. Wrong, sir.
The hell is this shit?
Cheesy gordita crunches are not made for you anymore, bro.
Oh, they slap though
They
so
do.
hard, man. Cheesy gordita crunch. You know, I've never given it the theory, but I do have a theory about Taco Bell that I'll never find out because I'm not going to get here. But if you didn't use the sauces, do you think you would have the same issues?
I don't use the sauce.
Okay, and you still have the issues?
I don't know. I haven't had it in a while, so might have to revisit.
We ought to. And you know what? I'll be the, what do you call it? The
moderator.
Yeah, the guy who has the placebo.
The neutral.
Yeah, I'll be the neutral. I'll go in. I'll eat Taco Bell like normal. You go in. You eat Taco Bell like normal. Are you a sauce guy?
Not really.
So we need a sauce guy.
I'll put the sauce on it.
Yeah, that's
it. I'll be the man tonight.
Yeah, there you go. You put the sauce on it. I'll go raw, and maybe you be our net neutral. Taco Bell talk. Welcome.
I don't get it either, but I'll do it. I'll do it for the boys.
Let's play a little What If Wednesday. This is an easy game. We talk about what happens if. What happens if Ole Miss beats Alabama on Saturday? Well, I'll tell you what would happen. It would be Nick Saban's first back-to-back home losses since he first took over at Alabama. And when they lost in his first year, they lost to LSU at home, then they lost to Mississippi State on the road, and then they lost to ULM at home. Unfathomable lack of success at Alabama for a Nick Saban coach football team. And it was his first year. And we could be on the precipice of something not similar, but something that looks similar. A loss to Texas, a very strugglesome win against USF on the road, and then a potential loss to Ole Miss. I think, and I talked about it with our guy, Dr. SEC, on Twitter today. If they lose on Saturday, the decades-long answer of, well, it's Bama, is gone.
Yeah.
I will no longer ever say, well, it's Nick Saban and it's Alabama. If they lose this weekend, they lose all of that lore for me.
I think it's been gone, honestly. I went into why I think it's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you lose 2 out of your last 3 games and show a bad showing against USF, yeah, absolutely it's gone.
I think it'd be the first time he ever started a season 500 in the first 4 games. It might even be the first time he's ever been 500 if he lost on Saturday.
I don't know. Those Michigan State teams were pretty bad.
Alabama. I'll say at Alabama. Aside of that, maybe that first year, there was a point in time where they were 500, but it might be the first time.
They were a 7-6 football team that year, so they were definitely 500 at some point. But no, you're 100% right. It would be unprecedented territory in what we know to be the Nick Saban era.
Absolutely.
How quickly do Bama fans call for his job after that?
They can't do that. That guy gets to walk off.
Yes.
Right?
It's just like how New England
There's no way you fire him. He will retire.
It's the same reason why Patriots fans right now cannot be just calling out for Bill Belichick, telling him to get on out of here, in my opinion.
Yeah, you win multiple titles. You reach GOAT status. You get to say when you leave.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think he's definitely going to leave on. That's not. I don't think that's going to stop fans from saying, "All right, it's over. We need to move on." I mean, they're talking about Kirby Smart and Dabo Swinney's going to be our next coach. They're already planning who the next coach is.
You are correct. I did see it. We did have a segment earlier in the week where Alabama fans were talking about trying to hire Kirby Smart. So
I mean,
it's been crazier.
They're ready to. They're not ready to move on, but they've got everything in order to say, all right, it's time to go.
They must have seen that clip of him walking off the field at USF.
He looked like shit.
Yeah, no, he didn't look great.
He looked bad. He looked old.
Yeah. For the first time, I thought, like, wow, he looks old.
Yeah.
You've been here a minute.
Because normally, like, he still does the I love this stuff, and you know, I'm also very open to the losses and very okay with the criticisms if you listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, well, you kind of knew who we were as a football team, and we got beat, and that's okay. Type of vibes. And that's very new for Nick Saban.
For sure.
Here's one I've got that I think he's right now. We'll touch on this later with Heisman odds. He's kind of buried at the bottom right now. What if Drew Aller just lights it up against Iowa, throws for like 350?
Me likey.
Does he climb up?
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about odds later, but I would guess he's like minus 800 right now.
Oh, he's lower than that.
He's
I think.
plus 4,000. Right
that's what I meant. Plus, yeah.
Plus 4,000. So, I mean, he's in the same.
Honestly.
He has worse odds than Marvin Harrison right now.
Wow.
They're really banking on Ohio State, Michigan beating Penn State then.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Vegas is fading Penn State as a football team entirely. No, I like this what if. I like this what if a lot because I think Penn State's going to win it. We talked about it last night. I think Penn State's going to win this game like 28-10, 31-10, something along those lines. But what worries me about this prediction or this what if you will, is I don't think this is a game that presents a bunch of passing opportunities because you get up on Iowa and you're going to stay up on Iowa and you can just run the ball on Iowa, even though you're not going to run it successfully. But we can run, punt against Iowa once we get a 3-score lead because they ain't never coming back.
Yeah, I think you'd have to have 250 in the first half for it to really come to fruition, which, I mean, Iowa's not that good. It's capable. So it's just a what if.
What you got for me, Jay Will?
I actually have one that's the opposite of that. What if Iowa's defense just straps up Penn State?
I would say it checks out. I mean, if Iowa can do one thing, it's play defense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I can see it. Is that game in Penn State or at Iowa?
I believe Iowa's at Penn State.
Yeah, I think it is at Penn State.
So at least you get a home game for Drew Aller. But this is going to be the first big time defense that he faces. So yeah, I could see them stuffing them in a locker. And if you make them one-dimensional, that's the key to defensive football, by the way. I believe if you can take away any team's run game and you can go out to every single play and know they're fitting to throw the ball, that's it. Unless it's Caleb Williams, that's it. You got them. You got them where you want them. If you can make any football team one-dimensional, you have a chance to shut them down pretty much. And Iowa has shown a propensity to do that in years past.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
All right. What if the Florida State and Clemson game is not close at all? Okay, and I mean this both ways. All right, we're going to swing this. We're going to swing this both sides of the
Switch
plate
hit.
here. Yeah, we're going to switch hit this one. All right. Here's what the reaction is going to be if Florida State blows them out. You already know this. We're going to talk about how Clemson's truly dead and Jordan Travis is a Heisman, candidate and all that good stuff. You're going to hear about how Florida State's legit, how we knew it all the time, or the whole time, and how Brooks's CFP predictions were stone cold locks, and everybody's good. All right, and Clemson's dead. We're going to hear that, absolutely. If Clemson blows out Florida State, however, we're going to talk about how Norvell's the fraud, Jordan Travis wasn't it, Florida State, all this portal stuff doesn't really work. We're going to hear all those takes. But I'll tell you this much, okay? Win, lose, or draw, all right, in my opinion, I've kind of already written Clemson's future off. If they win this football game Saturday, that's not the point to me. The point to me is I don't necessarily need to see them win. I don't necessarily see them be close. To be in the conversation of annual national title contenders like Clemson has been for years now, I need to see them do a whole bunch of other stuff that don't involve winning on Saturday. I need to see Clemson recruit on the offensive line much, much better. They have to. Did you know Clemson hasn't had an offensive lineman drafted? Has had one offensive lineman drafted in the last 10 years?
10 years?
One. They've had one offensive lineman drafted in the last 10 years. They've had as many punters drafted as they have offensive linemen drafted in the last 10 years.
Oh, it's impressive.
That is absurd. All right, and guess what? It appears to me that a Deshaun Watson caliber quarterback is not walking through that door, and a Trevor Lawrence caliber quarterback is not walking through that door. All right, it's been Cade Klubnik, who is above average, all right, and you signed the kid out of Florida or out of Alabama last year, who is okay. I'm not even going to try to remember my man's name right now, but it's okay. It's okay quarterback play. Okay, you don't have transcendent quarterback play right now. I also need to see them recruit the wide receiver position much, much better. And they've done some alleviation with this in their 2024 class. They have some good wide receivers coming in because guess what? They've promised playing time. It's very, very clear and obvious because they don't have any guys, any weapons right now at the wide receiver position. And it brings me to my next point. And it's been hammered over and over and over again by every national analyst in the world. I got to see some willingness to play some games in the portal. I have to. Okay, and this opponent Saturday is a good litmus test for this argument. Okay, Florida State had holes at the wide receiver position. You know what they did? They went and got Keon Coleman. That's what they did. All right, and guess what? They got one of the strongest wide receiver units in the country this year. Okay, so if all of this stuff keeps compounding, if we don't recruit better at the offensive line position, if we don't get transcendent quarterback play to alleviate those issues, if we don't get wide receiver weapons in, if we don't finally bend to the modern rules and the modern changes in the sport that we're involved in, then that then the win Saturday doesn't matter. Okay, so that's my what if. The what if is for Florida State. I've already made my mind up on Clemson. Win, lose, or draw on Saturday.
Yeah, I think if Florida State loses, then you're basically just talking about how they were the team that they haven't been there before. They didn't know how to handle it. They're finally back in the top 4, and it seems like kind of the newness to it, the spotlight maybe was a little too bright, and you drop one against Clemson. You brought up kickers, though. I know this is off topic. Did you hear about this story with the Clemson kicker this week?
Yeah, they have they basically got a 6th-year guy they found in grad school, right? Tell me the
he
story.
was living in Charleston. He's a grad student. He was taking online classes, was actually about to move to New York City here in a few weeks, and Dabo Sweeney called him to ask him to come play for kicker.
Let me guess, finance major?
I have no idea what his major is, but my favorite part is Dabo just saying it's either going to be the greatest story ever or it's just going to go terrible.
So is this their actual place kicker?
Yeah, he is going to be the kicker.
What happened
on
to
Saturday.
the kicker?
I don't know.
Just boo-boo?
I guess.
I kind of disagree with both of y'all on Clemson.
What's up?
I think long-term you're right. I don't think they are still the perennial national title contender. But I think there's going to be such an overreaction if, like you say, if this game isn't close, if Clemson wins by 20 points, people are going to be back on the Clemson train. Oh, they figured it out. The offense had a hiccup against Duke. Offensive line got everything figured out. They beat Florida State. Florida State was one of the best teams in the country. I think there's going to be a massive overreaction just because that's the way college football media works, where you get brought down so much that when you exceed expectations, you're built up to this higher level. Same as when you don't live up to these high expectations, you suck. So I think the national response from Clemson is going to be, oh my God, they're back. Are they a top 15 team? Things like that.
Well, I'm putting it out there right now. I'm not doing that.
That's fine.
If they beat Florida State by multiple scores, I'm still not in favor of Clemson.
Plus, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I just think the national response is
will
going to
be
be much heftier.
look at you idiots.
It's going to be much heftier.
I think it ought to be damn Dukies. How about them Dukies?
Yeah, no one's going to talk about how good Duke is.
Yeah.
Plus, this game doesn't mean anything. In
They're gonna
all
play
grand
again.
scheme of things,
No, you're right. They're gonna
exactly.
play
There
again.
are no divisions. These are probably going to be your top 2 teams unless Duke continues to ride out this wave that they're on.
UNC.
They're going to play again. So it really
On a
doesn't even
neutral
matter.
field.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't sleep on the Tar Heels, though.
All right, I got another one. Is it me? Who's up?
You got it.
All right. No, I don't have another one. That's on me. That was
Okay,
my
I
last
got one.
I got one, too.
What if Oklahoma is the best Big 12 team?
ESPN's FPI thinks so. Yeah, I saw today ESPN's
Yeah.
Football Power Index has them as the second highest chance to make the college
That thing is
football playoff.
always just
I
crazy.
think it's weird. It had Alabama number 1 after a Texas loss. Really, really weird.
I've never understood their FPI rankings.
I haven't
thing.
either. It's just a nerd in a room saying, I'm a nerd, believe me, because nerding's cool now in football somehow. Somebody made nerds cool in football. I don't know who it did, but airheads got to get back to taking this game over. Football guys only. If you don't breathe out of your mouth, I don't want to hear from you with regards to this sport. Go.
I feel like he slightly took a shot at me a little bit because,
What, do you breathe through your nose or something?
no.
Called you a nerd.
Oh, my bad.
Like just a little scrape on the arm.
Just that- my
Tis a
bad.
flesh wound.
My bad.
but
That's on me.
We'll be all right.
That's on me.
Shut up, nerd.
Shut up, nerd.
It's
Guy's a nerd.
it's
Let's go pick
I
on
kind of
him.
laugh that I am now. Like my Twitter thing is like all numbers and stuff because
Yeah.
for my entire life I have hated math.
Yeah, it's.
I hate math so much.
Sucks.
Always wanted to stay away from it. Major reason why I'm a journalism major.
I was
Now,
really good at math, actually.
That would make
I
sense.
don't know if I'm still good at math, but the quick math,
4
I'm really
plus 4,
good.
go.
8.
Wrong.
I actually had a math teacher that could make 2
thought
plus
about it.
2 equal 5, and 1 plus 1 equal 3. If he could make it all into trig and like confuse you, and he was actually just like missing a step on purpose, and he'd make you think that 1 plus 1 actually equals 3.
Aren't you cool?
Yeah. Where were we at?
What if Oklahoma is the best Big 12 team? That's what we were talking about.
Damn, I'd have to eat some crow because we were doing the Brent Venables thing. in
Oklahoma
preseason.
is looking good through 3
They
weeks.
are.
They haven't exactly been
They are.
tested like Texas has, of course, but like Dylan Gabriel, he's up in the Heisman
They got
rankings
somebody
right
this
now.
week though, don't they?
Who?
Oklahoma's got somebody worth a salt this week, don't they?
I think they do. It's not a horrible opponent.
I think they're 13.5-point favorites at home.
Yeah,
against
I don't know
somebody.
why, but my gut is telling me Tulane. I don't think that's right.
No,
though.
it's not. It's somebody worth something. They play a relatively decent opponent this week. Anyways, because I remember going through the college football pick'ems. I wasn't going to say this, but I'm like 61-45 against the spread this year.
Cincinnati.
Yeah, somebody decent.
That's a good, yeah.
14.5 on the road, too. It's at Cincy.
Emory Jones actually been playing
Shouts
good.
out. Emory Jones, man. Actually
he's
been
still in
playing relatively
college?
well.
Yeah,
he
man.
is. Playing for a second transfer, by the way.
Yeah. He
Played
was
for
at Arizona State.
And now played for Cincy. Another one of these guys that doesn't really make a lot of sense from a why is he eligible standpoint, unless you take into account graduation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would imagine the first one was the first-time transfer. Second one was the graduation transfer.
All right, so this one I have is I think we can kind of go deeply into it. What if the Colorado-Oregon game gets more viewers than the Ohio State-Notre Dame game?
Ooh.
I think it will.
Es
I think it
posible.
will.
It won't. I don't think it will. If it does, then they are the hottest ticket. They're a hotter ticket than like any NFL team not named the Chiefs in primetime.
You know what? I actually take that back because the fact that Ohio State and Notre Dame are playing at night and like that is just going to be the game to watch.
They cleared out the rest of the slate.
Yeah, never mind. That you're right. It is not going to happen. But I mean, they'll still put up great numbers, of course, because people are still riding this wave of when's it going to happen.
And another thing, you know that whole battle between Spectrum and ESPN?
Oh,
Yeah.
NBC doesn't have to bother with that. NBC's, I think, already guaranteed in the Spectrum deal.
Wow.
So from a head count, it's not a big of a
That
problem.
makes sense.
ABC versus NBC type deal.
I think also what kind of immunity does that give Deion Sanders? Where even if you aren't winning at Colorado, they can lose the nine games, but if they're going to pull in numbers like that and bring fun to that school that you haven't seen before, like what does that do as a coach? Where we haven't seen a guy who maybe not necessarily win, and he's winning right now.
Well, I can tell you one thing right now for a fact. Colorado's enrollment numbers are probably through the roof. Their application numbers are through the freaking roof right now.
That's what I'm
guarantee it.
saying.
So it's already paid. His salary's already paid itself.
Yeah.
There is no worth for it. There's no value I can place on what he's bringing to Colorado.
Exactly. Because you have teams like Alabama, Georgia, Texas, where you hire a coach for the strict reason of we want to win national titles. If you don't deliver that, you're failing. Whereas you have a guy like Deion Sanders where
Make us relevant.
yeah, national titles aren't really at the goal for a school like Colorado, but he's now bringing you more money than you've ever seen. Your application rates are higher. It's very interesting to see how it's going to turn out for
Do
him.
we think now? I know that Texas A&M had a lot more money to deal with when Johnny Manziel was there, but do we think we see that type of revelation happen or revelation happen? Renovation, one of the R words, happen in Colorado because of Deion. Like in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I think it's inevitable that if he's around long enough.
Yeah,
I think that's what, he might reach a saturation point at some point. Like you can only win. I mean, in theory, the history of college football tells us you can only win at one of these programs so much before you got to go to another program with a higher level of access and means for football. But what if he is the means for football? You know what I mean? What if Deion is such an economy in and of himself that he doesn't need a massive boostering, Like, that's why teams or coaches come down here. They come down to the Southeastern Conference because it doesn't just mean more on Saturdays. It means more in the pocketbook. They give more. You're able to do more. Your budgets are more. Your freedom to get what you want around the campus is more, right? And but what if he is his own economy? What if he doesn't need
he might
all
be.
That? He is. We know he is. He sold $5 million worth of sunglasses this past weekend.
Look, the fact that 60 Minutes is over there over there interviewing Deion Sanders, like that is very out of touch. No, I shouldn't say out of touch. That is not on brand necessarily for 60 Minutes. But they went on there, got Deion Sanders' screen time.
Here's the thing: I don't think they realize that they're going to have to battle now. He's the new hottest coach in college football.
Yeah.
If you asked every athletic director in America, you could hire one person, who would it be? You'd get about half of them to say Kirby Smart and the other half to say Deion.
I'm shocked that the biggest.
Actually, Deion might be the answer.
Yeah.
Deion is the answer.
Because I think it's feasible to poach Deion. Like you're not getting a Kirby Smart away from Georgia anytime soon.
Deion's got mercenary vibes.
I'm shocked Deion Sanders to Michigan State isn't trending on Twitter right now.
They don't have enough.
They don't have enough. I mean, they're gonna have to buy out Mel Tucker.
I know, but
No, they're not.
Because they cause.
Yeah,
That's
they
right.
fired him for cause.
That's right.
But
I don't think they have enough either way.
yeah, I still don't think they do.
I
We're
mean,
going to talk about it's going to have to be a major powerhouse program. It's going to have to be an A&M. It's going to have to be an Alabama. It's going to have to be an Ohio State that goes in and gets him. Because at this point, he's built Colorado to where Colorado leaving there is going to feel like a lateral move anywhere else, unless it's a major program.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would feel like a lateral move per se.
Give me an example of a non-perennial contender that isn't a lateral move from what he's created Colorado into right now.
I mean, last year you could have said Florida State. Not as much now because they are competing now.
Yeah.
But Florida State's one of them. Who's another dormant program? A&M, like you said.
I don't think those are lateral moves. I think those are up.
Yeah, so I'm saying.
Moves,
I think there's plenty of moves where you can go up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, I'm in agreement with that.
I think even like an Oregon would be a bigger move than Colorado.
For sure, but like this is the conversation we had a couple weeks ago. Where are the hot seats in college football? You can't find them.
Oh, it's week 3.
It's week 3.
They'll come around. Don't worry.
Yeah, I guess we didn't think Michigan State was going to be open and available preseason.
No.
Sometimes I'm glad I have an ability to bite my tongue because I about made a Mel Tucker joke. Not something you need to be joking about.
No.
At all.
Not funny. You want me to read you the Heisman odds now?
Yeah, give me the Heisman odds. Then we'll talk about Tennessee.
So you're unless it happens, seems to be hot now because Michael Penix has the second best odds.
Yeah, he does.
Number 1 obviously is Caleb Williams. Number 2, Michael Penix at plus 480. Who do you think number 3 is?
It's you said Caleb Williams, Michael Penix. Number 3 is Shedeur Sanders.
Nope. Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers at plus 550. After him, Sam Hartman at plus 1,000. So it's Caleb Williams, Michael Penix, Quinn Ewers. Those are the 3 front runners per se. Then it drops off a lot. Sam Hartman's plus 1,000. Then it's Jordan Travis, Shedeur Sanders, J.J. McCarthy. Then you get into the 2000s with Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Dylan Gabriel, Marvin Harrison, Tyler Van Dyke, Drake
All right.
May.
My question is, what in the hell is Quinn Ewers doing right now to make people think he should be up that high in the Heisman
I have
odds?
no
He
idea.
beat Alabama.
He did beat Alabama,
You
but he's
beat-
averaging like 220 yards a game.
Yeah, but I mean, you beat Alabama, you get a boost.
Okay. We did say that. I said he's going to have a Johnny Manziel-esque claim to the Heisman odds, but he did. I mean, he played well in that football game, but that football game was won by the team.
Plus, let's not act like we're on Twitter on Saturdays just seeing viral clips of Quinn Ewers making stupid throws. Like Caleb Williams has that. Johnny Manziel.
Do we think that
has
really, like nowadays more than ever, plays a role in the Heisman?
I think it
What,
does.
the Twitter virality?
Just like how
The
much
awareness,
of
yes.
how sticky are your performances?
I think so. I think it absolutely does.
Yeah, because I mean, who votes on the Heisman? People who have Twitter accounts. People
Wrong.
Pl-
It's all old dudes.
Yeah, but
No,
still,
yeah.
they
It's all
still.
old white dudes.
Plus,
They still have
like,
Twitter accounts.
for example, not a whole lot of people, but I don't care what anybody says, not a whole lot of people are staying up, which I know you're an exception, but are staying up super late every single week to watch Caleb Williams throw the football at USC. But when they wake up Sunday morning and they see 4 clips of Caleb Williams fumbling the ball in the back of the pocket and then launching that thing 60 yards for a touchdown, it's like, oh my gosh, Caleb Williams is God's gift.
No, it's 100% right. The virality was the word you used. The virality is an important role here in your Heisman campaign.
Be viral, have a popular team, beat a very big team.
Yeah,
I mean,
have a moment.
That's the 3. Those are the 3 like essential ways to win a Heisman. You don't even have to be the best player. If you do those 3 things, you're a shoo-in basically.
We're seeing a bunch of prime talk here in the chat. They bring up a good point here in the chat. Do we think Prime's run at Colorado ends when his kids' careers end at Colorado and he finds a new home?
Yeah, I mean, I think if Shedeur stays another year, Shiloh stays another year, he's staying at Colorado for another year, I would think, because based on the transfer rules, you could not bring them with you, correct?
Yeah.
So I think it has a cap of almost 2 years.
That's a great the transfer, the inability for his kids to transfer.
Travis Hunter couldn't go with
He's locked
him.
in for at least one there.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
I think even maybe Travis Hunter alone, the fact that he has to play one more year might keep him at Colorado another year.
That's a great one.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to be at Colorado for the next 2 or 3 seasons. I think the one issue you're going to run into is right now he's the hottest coach in college football.
Yeah.
Because he came in with such low expectations and he's exceeded them so greatly. What's going to happen in 2024 when it's, hey, Colorado's an 8-4 team this year and they go 6-6?
When expectations are for you to win.
Yeah, like what? Look at
When you're a 6-point underdog to Oregon instead of a 21-point underdog.
Yeah, what's Matt whose name at Iowa State?
Who?
Matt Campbell?
Matt Campbell. Matt Campbell was the hottest name in college football 3 or 4 years ago.
Matt Campbell's gone viral this week. Did you see?
Yeah. But to my point, like Matt Campbell was the hottest name in college football 3 or 4 years ago because he had Iowa State as like, wait, they're a top 10 team. They were expecting.
Yeah, national analysts picking them to make
Yeah,
a
they were
college football
projected to
playoff.
make the playoff.
He
and
sure
they
did.
They didn't do that. And now look at Matt Campbell. They're calling for his job. So
I think they finished 7-5 that year.
Yeah.
That someone picked them to win.
I think they were out of it by like
to
week
make a
5.
college football playoff. That's wild. That's crazy. Couldn't imagine picking the Hawkeyes to make a college football playoff. That's
Not
crazy.
the Hawkeyes,
the
the Cyclones, but even more of a point. Don't even
Right.
know the mascot.
But no, I do think that could be an issue for Deion where right now you're the hottest coach. Can you maintain being, quote, like the sexy name? Whereas if you go 6-6 next year and you're expected to go 8-4, I do think this lure and attraction to Deion can wear off very quickly if it goes to straight. Like I think if it goes bad, it's going to go to shit really quickly.
We shall see. I know people are waiting around for him to lose. I think they might get a taste of it this weekend, or he just shuts everybody up. Any more what ifs?
Nah, that's
No,
all
that's
I got.
it.
All right, let's get into a major category here tonight. Teams with the most to lose this weekend. Who do you guys got?
Go ahead, Joe. Well, I got to find that.
I mean, Alabama's probably number 1 on my list.
yeah.
And then right behind them, Florida State is right there, I think.
I don't think Florida State has anything to lose this game.
I think they do have something to lose. I think that you lose a good bit of momentum, and then you probably lose a little bit of confidence as well, knowing what happened to Clemson in week 1. And, like, this is your moment. You kind of feel like you've already made it, and then you follow up a game against Boston College where you barely escape, and then you go and lay an egg against Clemson. I think you do have something to lose. I think you have a lot to lose if you were to blow it against Clemson.
Well, I mean,
Uncle Mo.
yeah,
Can't be losing Uncle Mo.
but that's with most any loss. Like if Florida State loses on Saturday, everything is still in front of them. You
All
can
right,
still say.
I'm with. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying, like, if Florida State does lose, you can still look at it and go, all right, that's a bad loss. We still have everything in front of us. Whereas if you lose as a Clemson or an Alabama, your season is done.
What if
you're not making the playoff?
What if I told you last year Florida State was 10-3, and all 3 of their losses came in a row? Would you be a little more concerned? They lost to Wake Forest last year, and then turned around and lost another nut sweater to North Carolina State, and then another nut sweater to Clemson. Lost 3 close games in a row, and then 1 out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely big for momentum. Like I said, it's a big deal. I don't think you can put them up there with the Alabamas and the Clemson as teams that have the most to lose.
I just think there is something to be said about having to get back up on your horse after getting knocked off.
Get off the mat.
Yeah. And that's like, I just think that there is something to be said about having to do that and having experience to do it, having the experience to know how to handle that. I don't think Florida State has figured that out yet, and I don't know if this would be the time of the year where you're really getting into your conference schedule, which we can say what we want about the ACC. There are starting to circulate some good teams in that schedule. Like what we thought the ACC was before the season, that is not the case of what the ACC looks like right now.
You know, boys, I don't mean to do this to us, but do you think we're having more of a respect for other conferences because we're watching? I'm watching tenfold more football than I normally do.
I mean, yeah, I would say so.
I think it is.
Well-
like, I'm going to be 100% with you. I think it is. For me personally speaking, I find every Saturday I watch more and more football than I ever have in a lifetime that was consumed with football. And I find that, no shit, there's good football everywhere.
Like, I don't know if a year ago I'm sitting at noon watching Boston College, Florida State.
You
I'm
weren't.
probably finding
I
a
know
different
you weren't.
game.
I know you weren't.
I think there is some truth to it. I also think it's the greats are having a down year.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go back a couple years ago to the Alabama teams and those LSU teams and go, oh my God, they are levels above a Texas Tech or an Oregon, things like that. So I think there is some truth that because we are exposed to more football, yeah, it is like, oh wait, they're not as bad as we all said they were because everyone's like, oh, it's the Pac-12. They're not even a group of 5. They're like the G League of college football. It's not that, but I think there's a much more level playing field. Whereas in years past, Alabama, LSU, Georgia was like, oh my God, their world's better. No, it's not the case.
The SEC doesn't feel like the superior conference
No,
this year.
it doesn't.
And we talked about it a couple of shows ago. It's because of the quarterback play.
Yeah.
Which we forgot to rank SEC quarterbacks in our number 1. But if I were to do it right now, I'm telling you, if you just look through this list, there's not a bunch of superstars in here, guys. Okay, here's how I rank the SEC quarterbacks, and we're going to clip this so we can put it out on social media. I got Spencer Rattler number 1. I got Connor Weigman number 2. Jaden Daniels 3. Jackson Dart 4. KJ Jefferson 5. Carson Beck 6. AJ Swan 7. Brady Cook 8. Graham Mertz 9. The rest of them I didn't even rank.
Wow, you don't have Will Rogers ranked on there?
No, I don't.
No. Dude, he's
I don't.
completing
Will
like
Ro-
50%,
Will Rogers is
56% of
playing
his passes.
horrendously right now. He's attempting 26 passes a game, and he's completing 54% of them. It's not great, Bob.
No.
The SEC quarterback play in general is not great. They're of those names, I'll take maybe Spencer Rattler and throw him in the Pac-12 and let him eat with some of those guys. He's playing phenomenal football right now. The rest of them, it's average. It's average quarterback play right now in the SEC.
And Spencer Rattler's problem is he's on an average team.
Yeah, that's the only problem. So, no, I think the SEC right now is in a down year, and it's simply because of quarterback play.
I would agree.
I picked last week when we did this segment, who has the most to lose. I picked Arkansas for a very staunch reason. The rest of their schedule after that BYU game is hellacious. It's LSU, it's Alabama, it's Ole Miss, it's Mississippi State, bye week Florida. I mean, the meat of their schedule came after a winnable game at home against BYU. And Utah's got the same exact situation this week. Utah is maybe not going to see Cam Rising this week. That's not the point. Whether or not you start Johnson, it doesn't matter. This is a must-win. Cannot lose this football game because 3 out of your next 4 opponents are at Oregon State, USC, and at Oregon. All right, so that is not a good situation to be coming off of a game in which you are a 4.5-point favorite against a freshman quarterback at home. Okay, you got Dante Moore in your house. Okay, you got to handle business this week, Utah, because the rest of the slate is very, very ugly the next 4 weeks.
I agree with that, and especially being a Pac-12 team where they're notorious for stumbling towards the finish line at the end. I have LSU just because it seems like the SEC West is so wide open that you can't slip up and not take advantage of it this year. Alabama is down, and you have to be able to take that start 1-0 in the SEC. You can't come from behind in this, I don't think. So, who you got, J-Will?
No, I gave my 2. I said Alabama. I
I've
said
got
Florida State.
You got more?
Yeah, I've got a couple. I have Notre Dame just because for the fact that
that's a good one.
if you do lose, it's same old Notre Dame. They can't win in a big moment. They always shit the bed on the national spotlight. And you need this win to kind of propel yourself into a playoff conversation.
Did you find me a handsome man poker combo?
No, I couldn't do
You
it.
haven't thought about
Sam
one?
Hartman, Marcus
Sam
Freeman
Hartman
is
and
the
Marcus
answer.
Freeman. All right, chat. That's what we're putting up. All right. I got Marcus Freeman as my head coach, and I got Sam Hartman as my quarterback. Find me a more handsome duo between coaches and quarterbacks in college football. You won't be able to do it. That's what we're challenging everybody with. Who else you got?
The other one I have is A&M for similar reasons of LSU, but not as much just because, yeah, you have that loss to Miami, but you seem to finally have a decent offense, and the SEC West still is wide open. So you kind of need to keep winning games. They play, Auburn this week? So you need a good win against Auburn. Auburn, sneaky, decent team, I think. Not
Defensively,
good.
yes.
Defensively can shut it down, so you need to score and show that you can win games.
Is Mississippi State at home a must-win for Shane Beamer in South Carolina?
Yes.
Hold on. Before you shrug your shoulders, they go to Tennessee. They have a home game against Florida, a road game against Missouri, a road game at A&M. Like, that's their next 5 weeks.
And you'd be starting the season 1-3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1-3 with an impending, what we presume to be relatively balanced matchup against Tennessee.
And that's why I said at the beginning of the season, like, South Carolina's all the momentum South Carolina built up at the end of last season, it can come to a screeching halt. And
Very
it has
fast.
right now, and it could just come smack into the wall this weekend.
All that Uncle Mo on your side, and you decide to do a 12-hour interview.
Yeah. I do think the first half of the Georgia game helped them out a lot
Yes.
because
Yes.
South Carolina fans lost that
They
game.
have belief.
But they walked away going, you know what? We're
not bad.
We beat
Yeah.
the number 1 team for 30 minutes. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't have the horses at the end, but we played better.
Look
So-
at the improvement. Last year,
Yeah.
we got throttled at home. We go into their place. We play it tight. Hell, we had the lead.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think record-wise, yeah, it's important that you win this week, but they still love Shane Beamer. And I don't think that's going to change even if you have a 1-3 record.
I'm with you. Do we have any more?
Not from who wins to win the most.
All right. I did learn a little bit about Joe Milton the last 3 weeks in the sense that it looks like the same Joe Milton that we've seen. It looks like no touch when touch is needed. It looks like inability to trust the monster arm when tight windows are there. It looks like feet are inconsistent. even the ball he had against Florida this week, the touchdown pass to start the football game, his feet are all over the freaking place. I know he's got pressure, but it's like, oh, that guy's open, just like all of a sudden, and his arm's lucky enough to make him correct. But there's a reason we're not completing 70% of our balls in an offense that kind of connotes and allows us to complete 70% of our balls. I think if you go look at Hendon Hooker's stats, he was a 68% plus guy in completion percentage for 2 straight years at Tennessee while driving the ball down the field. So we've learned a lot about this Tennessee offense through 3 weeks, and we've heard a lot about what they believe in Joe Milton, and they're standing by him. I'm reading this article from Volunteer Country on SI.com today. Shouts out Evan Crowell, saying basically their offensive coordinator, Joey Hazel, was asked this week, hey, are y'all going to go to the freshman and Nico? And he said, no, it's operational, and Joe is operating at a really high level. What does that mean? Well, their evaluation of the quarterback is based off the operational success of how he is going through his reads, how he's processing the information, and how he's getting what he is getting, rather, out of the machine that he is operating, right? It's operational. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe they lose a couple more games, and it's all right, on to the freshmen. We got to see what we got.
I wasn't able to watch the entire Tennessee-Florida game, but the only throw that I really saw Joe throw on Saturday that I was like, wow, that was actually a really good throw. I think it was a seam shot kind of towards the middle of the field, and he threw it right in between the linebacker and the safety, and I was like, dang.
Yeah,
so that is a really good ball, but that was really the only one that I can remember.
Joe Milton has a shotgun attached to his right shoulder.
Yeah.
In that it's all power, no accuracy. So I think that's
Saw it off.
Yeah, that's going to be his detriment. That is his detriment now. I don't see how you change that with continued operational success. Yeah, even if he finds the right guy, can he hit him consistently? Can he do it when there's people at his feet? I think the answer is no with that, and I think that's why he's ultimately not going to lead you to anything major successful-wise.
I think they're in trouble from a sense that they don't have this vertical passing attack anymore. And they also don't have an offensive line that can control everything else. Like, we've talked about it here. What made them so great last year is they were a 260-yard per game rushing football team. Mm-hmm. They ran the piss out the football last year, okay? And teams couldn't stop them. And the moment they get into SEC play now, where no one's afraid of what the quarterback can do, they start stuffing boxes, and then, well, there you go. There goes the recipe to success. I was correct. Hendon Hooker completed 69% of his balls last year, 69.6%. Nice. Just hella nice right there. And, yeah, they averaged 325 yards passing last year, but they were 200 yards per game on the ground.
So is Tennessee a one-year wonder?
No, the offense in and of itself is predicated off quarterback play and weaponry. And if you don't have that, you're in trouble. But I think they're going to be okay because I believe in Nico. In terms, I didn't believe that Nico was going to be able to, because he's only played, this is what people forget about Nico. Nico only played like 14 high school football games. He didn't play a ton. There's not a big sample size of this dude, okay? And he's not seen or play a ton of football. So the idea that he was going to go play in some type of like Alabama wordy system or like Georgia wordy system or any of these systems like a Harbaugh, hell no, not happening. This is a guy that needs to go operate in a system that's very half-field read oriented and very spread oriented, and that's exactly what he's got into up there at Tennessee. So I don't think this is a one-year wonder. I do think that without certain things, you're going to be a 9-win football team, an 8-win football team. They're still good. Yeah, they're going to be, even with Joe Milton, I think they're an 8-4 football team based off what we've seen. That's kind of the vibe I had about them going into the season.
I think one-year wonder more because 2022 was viewed as like the return of Tennessee football. They're back to national prominence.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's what it is here. I think Heupel is a 9-3 coach consistently. When he has the right tools, they might make a stab at it. They might be 11-1, but I don't see how that offense consistently gets you 11-1 each year, especially when you don't have a Jalen Hyatt or someone like that.
I agree. But I also think that they are going to – I think the offense eventually is going to be fine because you are going to get Nico eventually. You got a guy like Mike Matthews right now that's committed. You are getting guys in the recruiting classes that are going to help you reload this wide receiver room and the running back room. But I think Tennessee fans are kind of figuring out just how valuable Jalen Hyatt was and how valuable Cedric Tillman was, along with what Hendon Hooker provided you. I mean, Hendon Hooker was by no means necessarily like this big-time dual-threat quarterback, but he provided an asset in the run game. I don't think Joe Milton provides that.
No, I mean, 3rd and 4 quarterback draw was definitely a go-to in their systems. You said a 9-3 football team?
Yeah.
How many 9-win seasons do you think Tennessee's had since 2000?
Since 2000?
Since 2000.
That's on the back end.
That's 25 years of college football.
I'm going to go with 4.
What's your guess?
3.
They've had 7. They've had 7 9-win football seasons since 2000.
How many of them since 2010?
1.
For like all the 10.
No, excuse me. 15 and 16, they were a good football team under Butch Jones.
Yeah, that's when they had
They were
Josh Dobbs.
They were 9-4 with Josh Dobbs. But last year was his first 11-win football season since 2001. So, if you told me 9-3, I'm taking that right every single day if I'm Tennessee.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, we talked about it to start the show, or we talked about it in the local hour with Florida. Tennessee's proximity to talent automatically makes them a lesser than program nowadays. It's the reality of the program, okay? And I hate to say that, but like, if you're not close, if your in-state talent cannot automatically put you on par with the other top 5, top 6 annual recruiters, then you are automatically at a detriment. You're automatically at a disadvantage, period, point blank. Tennessee high school football, not great. What it has produced and what it will produce over the next couple of years is great quarterbacks. And if they hit on George McIntyre in 2025, they're gonna be okay. I'm here to tell you that right now. George McIntyre is the chips all-in prospect for Josh Heupel. Okay, if he lands that, he's gonna be all right.
To play devil's advocate to the Tennessee high school thing, how do you explain a team like Ohio State, where the state of Ohio, it's not bad football,
the Northeast sector.
It's not top 5.
The whole Northeast. They have proximity and they're close enough.
So they basically just have a monopoly.
Yeah, they're close enough to Detroit. They're close enough to St. Louis. They're close enough to New York. They're close enough to Brooklyn. They're close enough to all of these areas in the Northeast to go get the best players from those areas.
And then they'll snatch up a Jeremiah Smith.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they'll come down to Florida and pick up a Jeremiah Smith.
I think proximity doesn't always have to be an issue, especially when you have teams like 4 or 5 years ago when Miami, Florida State, they all sucked. That was time to really go in and pick apart that state of Florida. I think, and especially with the way modern travel and things work, like how often do you see California guys come to the Southeast now? It's pretty frequent. So I don't know if it's going to be as big of an issue. It definitely puts you at a disadvantage to Florida, but I don't think it's going to be what is ultimately a detriment to Tennessee's program.
I'm looking at it right now. Ohio State does a lot of recruiting in Ohio. But it's a lot of New Jersey, Tennessee, Arizona, Florida. It's a lot of national recruiting as well out there at Ohio State. California, they do a good job of recruiting out there. Virginia, Texas. It's a national approach, but it is a lot of Virginia and Ohio and a lot of the DMV area as well. So kind of a national approach mixed with the local talent. But at Tennessee, man, like you're recruiting the Southeast.
Yep.
There's a lot of teams recruiting the Southeast that are a lot better than you, and also have a lot of leniencies with their home states as well. So yeah, I learned that through 3 games, the OC's already having to stand up in front of people and defend his quarterback, as he should when you got a 5-star behind him.
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
We all knew. Didn't know, but kind of predicted at some point this would happen where people were like, wait a minute, Joe Milton's not the Heisman winning first-round pick that we thought he was. Did you expect it to happen by week 3?
Yeah.
Really?
I did. I mean, before we debuted the studio, the thing I was teasing over and over again was Joe Milton's not as good as y'all think he is. Joe Milton's not as good as y'all think he is. Joe Milton can throw it 100 miles, but he can't throw it where he's supposed to. He can't read defenses.
Right. And like I said, we knew that coming into the season. I just didn't think.
We did.
Yeah.
The national audience did not.
I personally didn't think people would recognize that barely 1 quarter through the season. I figured it would take some time before. I mean, week 1, they were like, wait a minute, this offense is kind of
we sniffed it against Virginia pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, Virginia. We sniffed 2 things. God dang, Virginia's the worst Power 5 football team in college football, and Joe Milton ain't that.
No. So
anything else, boys?
I'm good.
I think we're good. Hey, Thursday night, tomorrow, Creature Comforts. Come see us. Come hang out with the homies. We'll be over there. I'm so glad to look over there and see that we got over 100 people watching NBR. Okay, this is not a national outfit. People don't think of it as a national outfit. But guess what? It's fixing to be. I'm going to talk my talk right now. Okay, 3 years ago, 2 years ago, I started doing YouTube stuff. Okay, started talking on the internet, started doing live streams. Okay, we have walked down. Everybody in this market walked right by them. All right, we're coming for everybody else. I'm telling you that right now. We coming. We are coming.